wanted to thank California Psychics for sponsoring today's video. Every day, people turn to California Psychics for honesty, guidance, and enlightenment. They ensure you have a positive experience by filtering psychics by topic, ability, style, and technique in order to find the perfect connection. I was impressed by their range of techniques from dream analysis to automatic writing. All you have to do is find the person and sign up by adding your first name, last name, email, and birthday, and there you go, you're ready to go. Now, the way to get the most out of your reading is you find a quiet, comfortable place to have your phone call and focus on the questions you would like to ask. If you don't feel a connection within the first 5 minutes of a call, it's best to hang up and try again. You can then reach out to customer service team within 24 hours and get a refund for those minutes. Now, by clicking the link below in the description, new customers get up to 80% off their first 20 minutes. You get an additional promo code by adding in ADD5. The promo code is ADD5 to get an additional $5 of credit. Now, I was really lucky because one of the very first people I connected with, she gave it to me so honestly yet compassionately, and she helped so much, and I couldn't be more appreciative of what she had to offer. Again, I wanted to thank California Psychics for sponsoring today's video. Hi, I'm Supermoon Tarot, and in today's video, we are going to be finding out a message from your future self. This could be about a particular circumstance you're in, maybe a decision you're trying to figure out, a person, romantic, friendship, a mindset, whatever it is, you've already gone through it. We're going to be connecting to that version of yourself and seeing what you need to tell you. So do not be surprised at whatever tone kind of comes out. I'm always going to try to deliver it in the smoothest, nicest way, but don't be surprised if future you is like, get your stuff together, or like, wake up, this is the love of your life. Whatever it is, we're going to be talking about it and going over it in today's video. Now, as you can see, I got 4 groups in front of us. You're going to pick whatever group resonates with you most. We have Moonstone, Malachite, Clear Quartz, and Angelite. I'm going to give you a moment to do so. Now that you have, you can go down to the description where you can skip to your designated group and timestamp, but let's get started with group number 1. Group number 1, let's talk about that message from your future self by looking at the cards. Your oracle card is Gentle Gardener in reverse. This is like an Empress situation, I can tell you right now. Sorry for my terrible laugh. The Empress upright. Okay, well, all right, let's go. 9 of Swords upright. Yep, this is pretty much just this. Okay, I can already tell you before we've pulled the rest of your cards, this is going to be repetitive. I can already tell you. The World card in reverse. Yep, the Devil upright. Yeah, we got pairs going on here. Ace of Wands in reverse. Queen of Swords in reverse. Okay, so this is like, I know it sounds overly joyous for something that you're actually going through. I'm not happy about you going through this thing. I'm happy because when something's so repetitive and clear-cut, it just makes it easier for me to read, but it's really nice to be like, okay, cool, we're not leaving anything out. This is what you need to hear. This is what you need to know. So let's go into it. So I'm going to go through all the cards, but you're going to notice the theme's going to repeat itself, but maybe get a little more nuanced and specific and detailed, but it's a general concept. So this oracle card is the total motif and thesis of the spread. This concept is about when we don't feel like we have enough or we are enough, and we then reaffirm it. Often this comes from some sort of like harbored resentment for yourself towards other people, a mindset, whatever it is. But the card is specifically talking about the idea of when you put yourself down, and you're therefore planting negative seeds that will in the long run bloom and become something negative. In some cases, it's about like in the long term manifesting negative stuff towards you, but I don't want to freak you out with that type of stuff. Don't worry about that. This is more like, you know, when people keep saying, oh, I don't have any friends, I don't have any friends, I don't have any friends. And then maybe all your friends don't dislike you, but they just always seem busy, and somehow you've kind of over time created that environment for yourself. You know what I mean? Now, the reason why your future self is like, stop doing this, be aware of this, is because you're incredibly powerful with the Empress card. This is your gardener. This is showing how powerful you are naturally to create abundance around you. You know, she's got that natural green thumb. She doesn't need to even lift a finger. She can like slightly move her foot and like a flower blooms. That's you. If you wanted to replant seeds of positivity and kind of like cast out those mentalities by putting in more like, you know, if you feel like, oh, I'm not good enough, even if you don't believe it in the moment, it's like in that second going, you know what? But I will be enough, or I'm learning to be enough, or I'm learning to accept that I'm enough. Whatever it is, the positive affirmation return, you can totally 180 the situation. It's like understanding a combination of how you manifest, how you affect the world around you. You are way more potent with how you think and feel than you are aware of. Many people can just kind of talk a bunch of junk, and it doesn't really mean anything. It doesn't change their world around them. And a lot of us, you included, are sensitive Sallys, and well, we can kind of mirror our world, but we can use that to our benefit. So this is a good thing. This is a very good thing. So over here we have the Nine of Swords. This is like a kind of a self-defeatist attitude. As you can tell, it's starting to get repetitive already. And it's like, this is you freaking out, putting yourself down, not feeling like you're enough, then maybe even potentially over worrying about like, well, what if I think negative thoughts, then does that mean I'm going to attract negative stuff? Stop. If you even have that thought for a second, you got to replace it with something positive. Not out of fear, but that's all you can do to battle that mindset. You don't need to put yourself in a position where you constantly feed yourself. It's like you're allowing all of your thoughts to be consumed by the train of thought of negativity. It's like once you start, you can't stop. It's that type of feeling. And again, it's this idea we have these opposing ends. It's like you're pulling yourself away, you're freaking yourself out when you could experience all that you naturally are. Again, abundance, positivity, put it out there, you'll get it back. But again, it's based on your thoughts and what you say and planting seeds and watching it grow. You just want to plant the right seeds. This concept gets continued over here. The Devil card in this case is talking about how you're your own prisoner and ward. You feel trapped, and so you feel mad about yourself that you're doing that to yourself. Like you're aware of your own toxicity to yourself, and you don't mean to, but then you can't help but put yourself down when you don't live up to your own potential. And that is just like a horrible place to be. And I'm so sorry that you're struggling and you're, in that perspective at this point. But then what is that causing? It's causing the world in reverse. Again, it's like this tunnel vision. It's thinking that this is all there is. You'll never get out. This is all you'll experience. This is all your life will ever be. This is all the only people you'll ever know. But the thing is, the world card being in reverse is like, again, talking about all this potential you could have. Because we could have gotten any other card and you got the world card. World card is incredibly unlimited, expansive. It's like not just moving and changing locations. It's like getting a new job and all of a sudden gaining a whole new friend group and meeting the love of your life. And suddenly you're going on vacations and living a life you never lived. You know what I mean? I mean, a lot of people who find something that they're really good at are like, wow, I can't believe where I was at a year from now. That's you. That's the potential you hold for yourself. But due to, again, this type of over defeatist self-thinking and allowing yourself to get caught up in a cycle and train of thought of negative thoughts and then beating yourself up for it internally and kind of going back and forth in that way is what's pulling you back from all this positive potential. And then finally over here, we have the Queen of Swords. This is just straight up nasty verbal abuse. And this is all the type of, it's like clear, it's just straight up the part of you that's putting yourself down verbally. It's those moments. It's the act of saying something negative and being nasty. It usually comes from a place of jealousy. So there is the potential that you're putting yourself down and you've created this sort of environment we've talked about over here in the devil card because of maybe you're jealous of other people. And so in turn, you're putting yourself down for not living up to what you would like to be or whatever. But whatever it is, it's not helpful. Because the thing is, the Queen of Swords shows, again, we talk about potential. Queen of Swords upright talks about somebody who's able to see situations as they are and wants to speak about them truthfully and as they are, because they feel that it's not helpful to others if they shield them from the truth, right? It's better to know, discuss it, move on, learn from it, whatever. But this is like if this type of personality isn't in the best mindset. So you're incredibly intelligent and insightful and able to see the bigger picture of things, which is beautiful with someone who's capable of going out in the world and experiencing more, who's able to create a world around them. And again, it's a very big, unlimited sort of feeling. But if you're not in the right mindset, you have way too much power to unleash in a negative way towards yourself. So it's almost like a backhanded compliment from yourself, but you're also like forewarning yourself to be like, stop it. You're too good at this. You're too good at hurting yourself. And that's what then causes the Ace of Wands. This is like all this potential, this concept. This could talk about a project beginning, but it's an idea. It's an energy. It's not just like jobs, careers. It's not about you not getting career things or the love of your life or something like that due to this. It's about like you have this potential, and potential being such an ambiguous term here shows that it leaks over into every aspect of your life. It's the smallest of things, like going somewhere and suddenly getting a free drink, and then before you know it, like a free coffee or something, and then like all of a sudden you go on a road trip spontaneously for the day, and you go to the beach, and then when you're at the beach, you learn about a t-shirt shop, and you buy a t-shirt, and you know what I'm saying? There's all this like, it's not as simplistic as career and love. I'm just trying to give you a broader stance of what this means, and it's like this can't come to fruition. It doesn't work out because again, how can this little cute bunny over here leap into all the potential they want to jump into when they're being blocked by the verbal abuse you put yourself in, and this sort of mentality of caging yourself in and allowing yourself to be caged by yourself? So it's like negative, potential positive, negative, potential positive, negative, potential positive. You are very, very, very powerful. And the concept of doing all of this is actually way easier than you think. You're just not giving yourself the chance or building up the habit or practice that you need to. The main concept you need to be aware of are your repeating thoughts, your mindset towards yourself, and the ways you put yourself down. Understand that this is just like me coming in. This is just me coming in. I just want to say this. If this does not happen overnight, that is fine. But you need to understand that during the process of healing and taking care of yourself and doing good things, it's just, you have to start somewhere. So every time you have these thoughts that are not in it, you have to ask yourself, is this helpful to me? When I say this to myself, is this beneficial in any way? If I say, oh, they would never pick me, why? How is that going to help you? You have to immediately replace it with the opposite phrasing until it becomes a natural way of you thinking and speaking. So you have to start somewhere. And it's okay if when you start to say it, you don't believe it initially. It will just take some time to click in, but don't beat yourself up in the beginning. Stop doing it now and enjoy the life you deserve to have. Got a lot of potential here, a lot of good. So I hope this was helpful. If it was, please consider giving the video a like, comment, subscribe. It helps out like you would not believe. Either way, have a beautiful day. I look forward to seeing you in the next one. And let's get ready for group number two. Let's look at the message from your future self by looking at the cards. Your oracle card is Dry Desert in reverse. Your tarot cards are the Magician upright, Eight of Swords upright, Two of Pentacles upright, the Hangman upright. I knew it. Knight of Wands in reverse. Okay. What's I'm sorry. I'm freaking out. Three of Wands in reverse. I told you. I didn't tell anyone. I said it in my head, but see, The thing is, when I saw Dry Desert and in reverse, and I started seeing all these other cards, I was like, don't jump to conclusions. Don't jump to conclusions. Of course I wasn't jumping to conclusions. It's a Knight of Wands in reverse situation. And okay, okay. Before I even get started in this, I don't want to be biased. I don't. The Knight of Wands doesn't always specifically depict this type of person. But you will find when you're doing tarot, or if you do tarot for yourself or others or whatever, you will find different cards have a different meaning to different people. And I have just pulled enough cards for enough people, blah, 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 that this particular card seems to always pop up for just such a specific type of person. This person. So I will say that this most likely is romantic, but because this is a general reading, it can still be oriented around friendship. The main idea you need to understand around this specific person is that there is just something about them. You feel that they're magnetic. You just feel instantly drawn to them. There's a connection you have with them unlike anybody else. Many confuse just want to be clear about that. They confuse this sort of deep connection they have with this person as a soulmate connection or something like this is the one type of thing. Now, again, Knight of Wands in reverse can still totally be the one. That doesn't mean that's not the case. But this is the main feeling they leave you with. Keyword leave. So let's get into this. So the reason why you're hearing my reaction to the Knight of Wands in reverse is because a Knight of Wands, hold on. Stop making that sound. Okay, sorry. When the Knight of Wands is in reverse, these people also, while they are very charismatic and they're very good at making you feel special and they're usually pretty attractive and make you feel attractive and all these wonderful characteristics you hope to have with anybody, they also have a short attention span and they will bounce from you to someone else to someone else to someone else. It is not a personal thing. That is always a main thing I want you to take away from this particular situation. They just have a short attention span. It's nothing you did. It's not that you weren't enough for them. No one's ever going to be enough for them. That's the way they roll. And they don't really care or think much of it. Some, depending on the cards around it, they can be manipulative, but I often find these people are unintentionally mean, if that makes sense. Like they're not taking any pleasure in you being left high and dry, if that makes sense. So that's why it makes sense, because over here we have Three of Wands in reverse. It looks like your connection with them just kind of suddenly seems to be stopping. This could be a combination. Now, normally Three of Wands in many cases often refers to being technical difficulties when your messages are trying to get it to them. So you text them and honest, the something shorted out and that's why I didn't get to them. But when we've got a Knight of Wands in the situation, they're just not interested. This is them not answering back. This is also you trying to get their attention and express how you feel, but especially with the Knight of Wands in the position it's in, it's like you're trying to express you're really into them and they're just not getting it. They're not fully understanding what that means. And you're like, oh, well, I just need to express it to them better. They're never going to get it. They're already moving on and they're not open to it in that kind of way due to this type of perspective they have right now in their life. Unfortunately, that you kind of were caught up in the brunt of whatever journey they're on, you accidentally got caught up in it and, had to deal with that. So then that's where we get all of this going on. So with the Two of Pentacles here, I feel like you were always put in a position to have to impress them. You always wanted to show them all you had to offer. They kind of comfortably put you in that position as well. It's like you felt like you needed to do that, and they also wanted you to do that for them. And they kind of, how do I say this, left you high and dry, especially when I see the Hangman. It's like they never had an intention for it to go anywhere other than what you experienced. It was like, this was all it was going to be, and they moved on. But they also, by kind of distracting you, and in their head they didn't have further intentions, you were put on pause in your life with other people. By being so hung up on this person, you you're still like overcoming them. You're still thinking about them. You're like, oh no, but it was really great. I really miss them. Your future self is like, they are preventing you from, by still being hanging up on them, you're missing out on other wonderful people that would much rather get to know you more so than they would. This was fake. Other things are real. And the more you allow yourself to think that the feelings they left you with were real when they weren't, it doesn't mean you didn't feel that way for them. The easy charisma and affection they can put out there can make people think that the other person felt just as deep of a connection, and it wasn't. Always hard to hear. I don't like saying it. I don't mean it in any callous way. I say it in a positive way of saying, that's great. You know how to love. You know how to care about other people. Find someone else who will. Don't let them distract you. And this idea kind of continues on because the Magician card says two different things. The Magician card is like how you perceived them. You thought they were this great person. They knew it all. They had it all. But in reality, you were the Magician. The Magician talks about you think that this person is going to complete your life, this specific person, but everything that you've ever wanted to have and be, you already are. You already are good enough. You already are pretty enough. You already are secretly like more mature and emotionally developed and confident than you are aware of. And you're not giving yourself credit. You think this other person brought this out of you. They just heightened what was already there. You can heighten that within yourself. But when we have the Eight of Swords over here, again, this is a repeating idea of like blockages. It goes both ways. You think that by them leaving your life, that somehow stalled you, that stopped you. But the Eight of Swords is a self-imposing obstacle. That means that they didn't stop you from anything. You can remove those swords and blindfolds around you anytime you want. It's a matter of perspective and understanding that you are more in control than you know. They didn't stop you. They didn't block you. You thought they took something away that they didn't. You've always had. This is like a complete compliment to yourself. See how you're like totally hyping yourself up? You're like, you don't need them. They are bringing you down. They were full of it. You don't need them in your life. You know what I mean? Like understanding it all. And then this is the biggest thing. This is where your future self is like going hard, and I love it. They just totally roasted this Knight of Wands over here. When we have dry desert in reverse, this is saying that this person is an illusion. They are a mirage. There's actually nothing there behind it. I'll be honest with you, especially spirit guides right now are showing me stuff. They might have looked cool and interesting, but they were actually a lot more boring than you gave them credit for because you're caught up in your feelings with this illusion and what you think is being offered. It's not really there. So this is like your future self saying, don't let this person bring you down. By being hung up on them, you're keeping yourself away from other people, from yourself. You're way more in control than you know. They're not even that great to begin with. They weren't going to ever, there was no potential in the long run, both due to their attitude towards you, but them as a person. This is the main thing that's hard for people to swallow and understand. Knight of Wands leave trails of broken hearts. Again, your feelings for them were real, and it doesn't mean they didn't enjoy you in the time period that you guys were together. But it's like a really like attractive person just like kind of bouncing around. They'll always have more options. They'll always bring in the enticing mannerisms that will bring people in, and they're totally okay moving on. That is hard for most people to process because most of us could never even fathom even like one person liking us or taking someone for granted in that way. So definitely keep that in mind. Like I said, I just get this card over and over again, so I hope that makes you feel better that it was definitely nothing you did, and that's what your future self had to say. I hope you enjoyed this video as much as I enjoyed doing this reading. Consider giving this video a like, comment, and subscribe. It helps out like you would not believe. Either way, have a lovely day. I will see you in the next one, and let's get ready for group number 3. Group number 3. Let's find out that message from your future self by looking at the cards. Your oracle card is the Golden Palace upright. Your tarot cards are Seven of Swords upright, the Hermit upright, the Hierophant upright, in reverse, Justice in reverse. Do not freak out about this. Don't worry, we have to look at all the cards. Ten of Wands in reverse, and King of Wands in reverse. Somebody is messing with you, and I don't like it. I get particularly, this is just me speaking, this isn't the cards, this is not you saying this is just me. I get so, like, I'm a very peaceful person, but I get very angry. I'm not naturally an angry person, I'm a pretty peaceful person, but I just get so upset when I see people being messed with, bullied, somehow having to dull down their shine in order to survive and stay invisible and protect themselves. And I don't like it, but I have good stuff to tell you. So it looks like your future self is thriving, and we love hearing that. But currently, right now, I can tell that somebody is messing with you, like I said again. When we have the King of Wands in reverse, there's a sense of manipulation. It's repeated over here again. Seven of Swords upright. This is somebody's like trying to keep information from you, like secrets, things that they are aware would be beneficial to you in some way, shape, or form. Spirit's telling me about compliments. Like a lot of people have nice things to say about you, or there's like a lot of positivity that naturally follows you and you naturally attract and create. And they know that, and they're keeping it from you, and they're trying to make you feel bad about yourself, down. So right now, as far as you're concerned, you're both being kind of beaten up and unaware that everything that they're projecting on you is actually the opposite for everybody else. Like they most likely, it doesn't say this here, but I'll just be honest with you, this feels like a jealousy thing. I can see in the Ten of Wands in reverse, oh my goodness, they have been taking a toll on you for some time. This is kind of like the end of the line, very burnt out, defeated, a sense of like not feeling like you want to go forward anymore, just kind of accepting the unfair, unjust aggression that's being pushed your way. This feels mostly psychological, I'll be honest with you, especially when we have the Hermit card. And I do want to point out that a lot of this is happening due to, again, with Golden Palace here, I'm going to go into more specifics in a second with this, but this shows that, again, you are coming into an age of abundance and positivity and joy. There's a lot of great things about you as is. You just are dealing with surviving and protecting yourself, if that makes sense. So they're jealous of what you naturally have. I can see with the Hierophant in reverse, you're definitely, you don't fit the mold in a really positive way, and that works for other people. And some people who already don't, like they feel, okay, how do I say this? Some people think they have to fit a certain mold. They have to follow traditional viewpoints. They have to think what everyone else is thinking, and they themselves are not comfortable with it, but they feel they have to. But they're also not good at standing out and being, silly and different and not like everyone else. They're not really sure where they fit in. And here you are, not following the preconceived rules they've put upon themselves, and you're just living your own life naturally. You can't help but, what's the metaphor? Like, walk to the beat of your own drum. And you do so well at it, and people have a really positive response to it, and they don't like that. It upsets them deeply. When we see the Justice card in reverse, this is why I said don't freak out. This just talks about something being unfair. It could be unfair based on the amount of work you put in. You're not getting the sort of results back. But in this case, it's like unfair treatment. It's not right. There's no reason for it to happen. You didn't do anything. It's just an uncomfortable, unfortunate bump in the road. This is kind of like your future self saying, you did not attract this to you. Don't make them poison your brain and think that you did like you were thinking negatively and attract negative things, not in least. Sometimes things just happen. Sometimes, the thing is, Justice cards normally talk about karma and like this is meant to happen. You're meant to learn a lesson. Not in this case, I can tell you right now. This is just saying that it's just in general not fair that it's happening, but there's not a lesson you're learning, nothing. You're good. This just isn't fun for you and you're dealing with this. But here's the thing. Here's where it starts to get like really positive and good and talk about all this like future good stuff coming your way. So the Golden Palace Oracle card traditionally talks about, again, this positive, like it's like being told and being given a golden ticket and saying, guess what? I know it's not been great, but here, now moving forward, we're going to be, you're going to just experience a lot of unusual heightened levels of happiness and joy for no reason. You're going to be attracting a lot of good things around you. This is more than the idea of like money or love or those type of things we're pursuing in life. It does include them. It's just like an unbridled sense of joy and good things coming into your life. Again, Golden Palace, Golden Age. But think of it more in this vibe of like, it's a really powerful era. So I'm very excited for you that your future self is already going through it and is letting you know about it. It's like, imagine unknowing to you, let's say 3 days from now is when the switch is going to happen and you're just going to be in that mindset and attract all these things and be in the flow of everything, right? But imagine you could tell yourself, hey, I know you don't feel good now, but in 3 days, it's going to be happening. It's kind of like that feeling because it will just 180 so fast on you and you'll be shocked at where you were at not that long from when you go into the better place. But the Golden Palace also talks about the idea of being aware, and this is what kind of transfers you into pulling out of the situation and with a better time. And I will tell you right now, I don't see them in your future. It doesn't say specifically how they leave. It's almost like you gain confidence and somehow that by the powers of the universe gets them out of your life or whatever through a chain of events. But the Golden Palace talks about having happiness not based on the things we have, but who we are and how authentically we live our life. It's not about not enjoying nice things if you want to go buy some cute clothes or something like that. It's about the more you feel excited and happy about just simple things, like you're proud of whatever your hobbies or interests are. You're proud of the way you view the world. You're proud of your true essence as a person, and the more you gain confidence, like it's more than just being okay with it. It's like power. It's like you like a favorite TV show, but instead of being like, yeah, I like that TV show, it's like, no, I love that TV show, and it makes me a really cool person for liking that TV show. As you gain that sort of confidence and authenticity and feel really happy that you're living your truest version of yourself, that is what's kind of like fueling everything else and pulling you out of this situation and perspective. And this is why I'm saying this is where it's all cool, because even though it sucks that they have been putting you in a position of isolation, especially when we see the Hermit card is a great sense of isolation. This is when we like pull away because we're sad or something, and we have some time to contemplate. It's not like other cards where you're contemplating too much, kind of like the Nine of Swords, like you're in your head too much and you're beating yourself up, going over the same thoughts over and over again. Same thing with like the Hangman or something like that. With the Hermit, this is like looking at it and starting to see things clearly because you're no longer distracted by outside distractions. So even though they think they're winning, this person, by pulling you inwards, as you can see, the Hermit has a light. When you're isolated, you slowly start to realize what they're hiding from you. You start to not only see the positive things that are there that they didn't want you to see, you start to realize how insecure they are. You start to understand who you are. So weirdly, this is just naturally working out for your benefit, even though right now it's difficult and heartbreaking and sad and not great. It's like you're gaining power even when they're trying to keep you from it. So you're kind of unstoppable. Good for you. You're entering this awesome time period of absolute, I cannot stress this enough. I know I'm being redundant, but I really need to stress this enough. It's not many times in our life are we just this unperilously, I don't even know if that's a word, unlimitedly filled with joy. Like imagine doing nothing different a month from now, just your daily activities, but you're just like so excited about that cup of coffee you got. You're so excited. Everything's like all the trees are in bloom and you're so appreciative of it. It's that sort of feeling, but it has a bunch of other good things attracted to you along the way. So just to reiterate before we get off here, you're being manipulated because they're insecure and they're hiding things from you. There are things that are complementary to you, they're trying to prevent you to have. They're making you feel defeated, but even though they're making you feel defeated because they're jealous of your natural ability to stand out and be super unique, you're weirdly still going to do well because you're going to have time to notice all these things, be that much more connected to your most authentic self, and then naturally pull away from this person, naturally go into a better time period. And again, just want to point out that sometimes in life things happen. It doesn't mean anything. In this particular case, it doesn't mean anything. It's just a bump. You didn't need to learn a lesson. There's something deeper about it. Just bloom, do well, see through their flaws, and thrive. So I hope you enjoyed this reading as much as I enjoyed giving it. Please consider giving this video a like, comment, and subscribe. It helps out the channel like you would not believe. Either way, have a lovely day. I look forward to seeing you in the next one. And let's get ready for group number 4. Group number 4. Let's find out what is your message from your future self by looking at the cards. Your oracle card is Stormfield in reverse. Your tarot cards are 6 of Pentacles upright, 5 of Pentacles upright. Ooh, that's interesting. Temperance card upright, 8 of Pentacles upright, Page of Wands upright, and 9 of Wands in reverse. Oh, this is so weird and abstract. Like I'm seeing chunks of a giant, like a whole. Like I'm seeing puzzle pieces, but I'm not quite getting the full picture. Okay. I'm pretty sure this is a work situation I'm looking at. Yeah, okay, let's just go with this. So normally, this is kind of like you doing your thing, your day-to-day grind, you're doing a great job, you're feeling great. Page of Wands shows like your natural place in that situation. You're happy, you're having a good time, you're feeling like yourself. Just life is good, right? But something is happening that's throwing you off balance, I can see. So over here with the 9 of Wands in reverse, this shows that you're once fun, happy, everything was great. It's like some sort of decision was made or a stressing out over making some sort of decision that's caused you to be extremely paranoid, extremely defensive, just feeling like you're putting up some sort of wall. It's like a total 180. It's like, I feel like a lot of it's due to feeling like you're underprepared, feeling like you're not able to handle whatever somebody's sending your way. And again, I know this seems really abstract. Again, this is a general reading, but it's almost like being given an opportunity, not liking how that opportunity went, and then feeling upset about what you're having to deal with, not sure where to go and like what to do. And it's just causing you to be even that much more uptight in the situation than just purely what you're going through, if that makes sense. I can also see over here, it's like, again, this is where I feel like I'm getting pieces and it's a little confusing for me to read, because over here we have the 5 of Pentacles, which talks about your mindset, a lacking sort of mindset. And that lacking is around temperance, which is all about, self-care, self-love, a sense of balance. We talked about that balance between working hard and feeling like you're having a good time or whatever. And it's this feeling of, how do I say this? Temperance is all about balance through a combination of a multitude of things. So it's not the duality between just two things like work and home life. When we work at our jobs, we're usually handling a lot of different things at once, whether it be interacting with people, the individual work that we do, then how we get that work out there, whatever it is. And something is missing from one of your cups, you could put it that way. If you had a bunch of cups and they had to be particular amounts of different things. And that is the kind of mentality that's being brought out of you due to this person or the situation being like messing up your groove, essentially. Something's messing up your groove. Now, I can see there's something, like, again, I'm so sorry, I'm not normally this abstract, but I'm feeling like a very abstract situation, something I personally haven't experienced, so it's making it come off very flowery, so I apologize about that. But with the Stormfield in reverse, this talks about the idea that yes, there's drama going on. Yes, it's not fun. And you're kind of telling from your future self, you're kind of telling your past self, listen, I know things feel off. It's not great. It's making you feel torn. Right now is the best time not to engage with drama, the problem. It's so interesting because in many situations, it's all, I often get from cards from people's like future self or your spirit guides, whatever, whoever's coming through. It's this like vibe of like, yeah, fight back, do good. Sometimes it's best to lay low. let it brush over. Because when the Stormfield Oracle card in reverse pops up, it basically says, if you engage, it's just going to get worse. Find the best way you can either kind of remove yourself, be as docile and kind of chill as possible. It's going to pass. Storms pass. They're temporary. But you're going to need to let it go by. The thing that's interesting here, though, is there's the reassurance from your future self, though, when we get the Six of Pentacles, because the Six of Pentacles says, even though this situation or person, this moment you're brought into kind of messed up your groove and made you start to doubt your capabilities, it started to, and that doubt started to affect everything else and mess up your kind of day-to-day balance and feeling like even and like yourself, and started to bring out other traits. When we have the Six of Pentacles, this proves that you're actually much more capable of setting boundaries, understanding when to give, when to cut people off. You're much more capable of handling the situation in the long run, like when this kind of thing pops up again, or if you're in a situation, you're good. Like this is kind of like the reassurance of like, this isn't a lesson to learn, it's unfair. Kind of let it pass over for a little bit, and then after you feel like the storm's mostly gone by, step back in being your most confident self and being able to say, hey, I don't like that you kind of messed up my flow, back up. Or saying, you know, just because I'm cutting you off doesn't mean I don't have more to give other people. Like, I'm not changing who I am. I'm not. Does this make sense? I'm sorry this is such a convoluted one and this came out this way. I will do better next time. It's just a very unique, once in a while I come across these type of spreads. It happens. What you gonna do? But either way, the main thing I want you to get from this is that this is temporary. Your future self is saying it is best to lie low. Don't let other people affect your mood, and understand that you need to pay attention to those individual cups. Like, what do you feel is lacking and how can you revive it in order to feel like your best balanced self? Because it's only like one or two things missing. I know it feels like the whole world around you is crashing, but it's just one or two things that feel off. And understand who you are and your capabilities and what you have to offer. So I hope that translated. If you enjoyed this video, please consider giving it a like, comment, subscribe. It helps out like you would not believe. Either way, have a lovely day. I will see you in the next one. And yeah, bye.